This film has been described for blind and visually impaired audiences by Descriptive Video Service, a service of WGBH Boston. Described by Lisa Benjamin and Leslie Wu Foley. Descriptions read by Wendy Sakakini. Funding by the United States Department of Education. Credits appear. Cast: Jack Nicholson as Warren Schmidt, Kathy Bates as Roberta Herzl, Hope Davis as Jeannie Schmidt, Dermot Mulroney as Helen Schmidt, Howard Hessman as Larry Herzl, Harry Groner as John Risk, Connie Ray as Vicky Rusk, Len Carrillo as Ray Nichols, Mark Venhuizen as Duncan Herzl, Cheryl Hamada as Sandra, Phil Reeves as Minister in Denver, Matt Wilson as Gary Norden, James Michael O'Connor as Randall's best man, Jill Anderson as Bridesmaid reading St. Paul, Vaughn Wenzel as Man Mourning Helen, Judith Catherine Hart as Woman Mourning Helen, Marilyn Dipp as Neighbor Lady, Reverend Robert Gem as Priest in Ihema, Melissa Hanna as Dairy Queen Employee, Tung Ha as Frat Kid, James J. Crawley as Other Frat Kid, Mary Beth Nelson as Bartender, Stephen Heller as Tire Store Employee, Lester Kills Crow as Native American Cashier, Thomas Michael Belford as Funeral Director, McKenna Gibson as 6-year-old Jeannie, Emily McNaughton as 12-year-old Jeannie, Beth Hyman as Wedding Singer No. 1, Linda Wilmot as Wedding Singer No. 2, Unit Production Manager, William Badlato, First Assistant Director, George Barra, Second Assistant Director, Shari Nicotero, Executive in Charge of Production, Carla Fry, Production Executive, Dana Bell Castro, Executive in Charge of Post-Production, Jody Levin, Post-Production Supervisor, Rick Reynolds, Production Supervisor, Billy Badlato, Art Directors, Tim Kirkpatrick, Pat Taliaferro, Graphic Design, Nate Carlson, Assistant to Jane Stewart, Lynn Giordano, Set Decorator, Teresa Vissener, Leadman, Patrick Lees, Set Dressers, Paul Clowers, Jack Clowers, Andrew Wayne Carson, Brian Vajelgaseng. On-set dresser, Stephen Wolf. A-camera operator additional photography, Bob Adisa. A-camera first assistant, John Small. A-camera second assistant, Steve Walpa. B-camera operator additional photography, Radin Popovic. B-camera first assistant, Mike Master. Camera loader, Melissa Freeman. Additional camera loader, Scott McCarthy. Still photographer, Claudette Barrios. Projectionist, Jim Foyt. Sound mixer, Art Rochester. Boom operator, Errol Simpson. Utility sound technician, Ricky Hawks. Video assist, Michael Baird. Production accountant, Karen Eisenstadt first assistant accountant, Sherry Goldman second assistant accountant, Steve Reynolds. Payroll accountant, Jeff Glado. Accounting clerk, and Badlato. Additional accounting clerk, Brian Grummett. Construction auditor, Debbie Taliaferro. Production coordinator, Kayleen Carlson. Assistant production coordinator, Wayne Lamke. Production secretary, Roland Minarian. Production office assistants, Laura Craig, Aaron Smith, Amy Romeo. Additional second assistant director, Rocco Mara second assistant director, David Muddy Waters. Set production assistants, Nick Fitzgerald, Josh Galler, April Fitzsimmons, Sam Arendt, Erica Anderson. Script supervisor, Rebecca Robertson. Driver for Mr. Nicholson. Location assistant to Mr. Nicholson, Stacy Eric. Executive assistant to Mr. Nicholson, Don Perlin. Chefs for Mr. Nicholson, Oswaldo Rosa, Tommy Barata. Hairstylist for Mr. Nicholson, Joy Zapata. Makeup artist for Mr. Nicholson, Carrie Angland. Wardrobe for Mr. Nicholson, Nava Seddon. Stand-in double for Mr. Nicholson, John Hackett. Additional photography supervisor assistant to Alexander Payne, Kyle Schilling. Chief lighting technician, Dwight Campbell. Best boy electrician, Simone Peruzzi. Electricians, Dennis Buffum, Paul Eichler, Tom Axtell, Jeff Ang, Aaron Lemire. Rigging gaffer, Michael Tolochko. Rigging electric, Kevin Kettlehead, Jay Swanson, Travis Williams, Quinton Bogard. Key grip, R. Michael Stringer. Best boy grip, Stephen Martinez. Dolly grip, Milo Durbin. Grips, Dave Ben, Monty Bass, Laura Davis, Dennis Schatzman, Mike Wyckoff. Property Master, Jeff O'Brien. Assistant Property Master, Tanya Majidow. Additional Property, Chanda McConnell. First Avid Assistant Editor, Tom Daly. First Film Assistant Editor, Danya Joseph. Assistant Editor, Mark Scoville. Apprentice Editor, David Berman. Sound Design and Amp, Supervision, Frank Gaeta. Re-recording Mixers, Patrick Sycone, Jr., Adam Jenkins. ADR Supervisor, Kimmery Long. Sound Effects Editor, Mark Hunchik Choi. Motion Picture Sound Editors, Javier Benacer, Lyle Engel. Dialogue Editors, David Grant, Michelle Bazer. Sound Assistants, John Cannon, David Stank. ADR Voice Casting, Sandy Holt. Foley Artists, James Moriana, Jeff Willoit. Foley Mixer, Nurses Gazalian. Foley Recordist, Greg Zimmerman. ADR Mixer, Ann Hadsell. ADR Recordist, Claudia Carl. Recordist, Unsunsung. Additional Audio, Mark Ormandy. Daily Sound Transfers, Scott Austin. Sound Editorial by Sound Deluxe. Re-recording services by .ao Studios, .ao Studios and AMP, Sound Deluxe Logos. Co-construction coordinators, Ron Gilo, Ron Rhodes, Merv Johnson. Construction gang boss, Steve Miller. Shop steward, Dave Brown. Lead painter, Robert Ellison Knight. Paint gang boss, Michael Tatchell. Painter foreman, Melaine Jones. Carpenters, Michael Daly, Rick Hoffman, Kevin Cullen. Set painters, Craig Lee, Sora Kimberlane. Utility construction, Rob Baker. Construction PA, Ricky Taliaferro. Location manager, John Lattenser 5. Assistant location manager, Mike Lattenser. Location PA, Kendra Lidl. Key makeup artist, Jean Van Fu. Makeup artist, Danielle Cunningham. Key hairstylist, MJ Olson. Hairstylist, Angie Paul. Costume supervisor, Janine Bordeaux. Set costumers, Susan Stubble, Linda Flake, Crystal Highland. Production controller, Paul Prokop. Financial advisor, Andrew Matthews. Production resources, Mark Jacobs. Supervising production coordinator, Emily Glatter. Business affairs executive, Suzanne Rosenkrantz. Production attorney, Carolyn Blackwood. Business affairs administrator, David Sporn. Assistant to Alexander Payne, Tracy Boyd. Assistant to Harry Jeet, Edward C. Wong. Assistant to Michael Besman, Rick Williams. Visual effects supervisor, Eric Henry. Matte paintings by Robert Stromberg. Unit publicist, Deborah Woolger. Set medic, Midwest Medics. Extras casting assistant, Chad Vishoff. Stand-ins and photo doubles, Gene Hamilton, Sagan Lewis, Daunt Beek, Joshua Hannum. Catering by Tony's Catering. Craft service, Will Gatlin. Craft service assistant, Teresa Cullen. Transportation coordinator, Steve Brill. Transportation captains, Gary Edelman, Larry Weasel Kane. Drivers, Lindsay Elliott, Mike Sluggo Grooms, Gary Labs, Robert Rocco, Joe Brumbon, Lawrence Sparky Root, Floyd Irwin, Tony Swartz, Gracie Klein, Gary John Boy Roberts, Donald Jones, Dave Nickel, Angie Garaher. Picture vehicle coordinator, Bernard Skizymansky. Music executives, Paul Browsack, Bob Bowen. Music business affairs, Lori Silfen. Music clearances, Annie Searles. Music editor, Richard Ford. Score conducted by Larry Gruppy. Performed by Seedle Music. Score mixed by Robert Fernandez. Music contractor, David Sabi. Score recorded at St. Thomas Chapel Bastyr University, Seattle. Score recorded by Lee Mobile Remote Recording Services. Score mixed at Signet Sound Studios. Orchestrations by Tony Blondell. Additional orchestration by Carrie Wickstrom. Music preparation, Adam Musica. Technical consultant, Stephanie Coleman. Soundtrack album available on New Line Records. You Sexy Thing, written by Earl Brown, performed by Hot Chocolate, courtesy of EMI Records, Limited, under license from EMI Capital Music Special Markets. Quadrim Naciens, written by Eric Saddle, performed by Aldo Ciccolini, courtesy of EMI Records, under license from EMI Capital Music Special Markets. Sentimental Lady, written by Robert L. Welch, performed by Bob Welch, courtesy of Capital Records, under license from EMI Capital Music Special Markets. African Beat, written and performed by Bert Giemfert, courtesy of Polydor GmbH, Hamburg, under license from Universal Music Enterprises. You Wear It Well, written by Martin Quittenton and Rod Stewart, performed by Rod Stewart, courtesy of the Island F Jam Music Group, under license from Universal Music Enterprises. Longer, written by Dan Fogelberg. Wedding Song, There's Love, written by Noel Paul Stuckey. Taking Care of Business, written by Randy Bachman, performed by Bachman Turner Overdrive, courtesy of the Island F Jam Music Group, under license from Universal Music Enterprises. Titles and Opticals by Custom Film Effects. War and Montage by Carla Swanson. Negative Cutter, Magic Film and Video. Color Timer, Motto. Grip and Amp, electric equipment furnished by Trademark Motion Picture Equipment. Clearances by Amy Russell, The Clear Choice. Risk Management, Lori Cartwright and Amp, Jennifer Mount. Production Safety, Jeff Egan. Insurance provided by Aon Albert G. Rubin. Preview Technical Supervisor, Lee Tucker. Payroll by Cast and Crew. Prints by Deluxe. Color by Photocam. Released on Fujifilm. Number 38731, Motion Picture Association of America. This picture made under the jurisdiction of International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees, affiliated with AFL-CIO-CLC. Sony Dynamic Digital Sound. Dolby Digital. DTS. The Private Navy of Sergeant O'Farrell clip courtesy of Pearson Television. Guiding light footage courtesy of Procter & Gamble Productions, Incorporated. The Rush Limbaugh Show courtesy of Premier Radio Networks. The filmmakers wish to extend their personal thanks to Child Reach Plan. Obama Film Commission Office, Julie Ginsburg, Kathy Shepard. Nebraska Film Commission Office, Lori Richards. Ihamuck Police and AMP, Fire Departments. Doubletree Guest Suites, Central. Winnebago Industries. The characters and incidents portrayed and the names herein are fictitious, and any similarity to the name, character or history of any person is entirely coincidental and unintentional. This motion picture photoplay is protected pursuant to the provisions of the laws of the United States of America and other countries. Any unauthorized duplication and/or distribution of this photoplay may result in civil liability and criminal prosecution. This motion picture is being exhibited under specific license and is not for sale. New Line Productions, Incorporated is the author of this motion picture for the purpose of copyright and other laws. Copyright 2002 New Line Productions, Incorporated. All rights reserved. Minecart with Snow Golem. A New Line Cinema release.
Soukromý pozemek. Zákaz venčení psů.